All right, everybody. What do we got here? Upload speeds are increasing with technological advances. Consider 2000 as year zero. All right, so that means that this is going to be year 8, this is year 9, and so on. All right, so round slopes and y-intercepts to 2 decimal places. Find the equation of the line passing through 2008 and 2011. Okay. Um, all right, let's see what we got. Now you'll notice, unlike in the last section, in this one they gave us the trend line, okay, and undoubtedly the author used computer software to make that happen. So the trend line is going to be very accurate. Okay, so find the equation of the line passing through it. Okay, so um, now, if they had not given us this information up here in the input-output table, the T-chart, then we would have to just estimate, okay, what point is that and what point is that? But they tell us exactly what they are, which is really helpful. So let's go get it. So the slope, I guess I'll just do it right here. Going from the 2008 point to the 2011 is going to be, let's see, will be the difference of the y values. Y is always on top, or is always on the right. Let's see, 1029 divided by the difference of the x values, in this case, the years. So 2011 minus 2008. Now they did say that the year 2000, that's year number 0. So I mean, I could have just said year 11 minus year 8. Either way, it'll still give me a 3 in the denominator. So I'll pull out my trusty dusty calculator here, and let's see, 2705 divide that by 3, and it says 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's going to be 558, 0.67, or 2/3. And let's see, I have to keep pausing because I'm sneezing. Okay, so now what are the units on that? They don't ask me to, they don't say, well, go ahead and explain what that means, but it's always a good idea. So it's going to be the speed in kilobits per second per year. Okay, so that would be, those would be the units. Okay, so how are the kilobits per second increasing per year? Well, between 2008 and 2011, it was increasing by 558.67 on average. It'll be different each year, but during those 3 years, that was the average increase per year. Okay, that tells us how fast things are growing. The slope. All right, next, part B. Find the equation of the line passing through years 2009 and 2010. Okay, so to find the equation line passing through the years 2009 and 2011, there's a couple of ways to do this. I'm going to show you how to do it by hand, but in the next section, I will show you how to do this, how to do this by calculator. Okay. All right. So by hand. Well, it says find the equation of a straight line. Well, straight lines, which is what chapter 1 is all about, all have the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope. Okay, we got that. And b is the y-intercept. In other words, where the trend line hit, oh boy, I'm terrible at drawing, where the trend line hits the y-axis. Okay, so that's what the y-intercept is. That's the b. Why do we use b? I don't know. All right, but it does say, let's find it for between 2009 and 2011. Now, if it said 2008 and 2011, we'd already have the slope. Okay, in fact, you know what, just for, well, yeah, just to save time, I'm just gonna use that. But the way it's written, you'd have to say, oh, I gotta go find the slope again using these 2 points here. And, you know, okay, but I'm just gonna pretend it's 2008. Okay. So we're looking for the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, well, we already know the slope, 558. 0.67. Now we just got to find the y-intercept b. All right, now to do that, we're going to plug in any of these points that we want. Okay. And that'll be okay. So I'll just pick, I don't know, how about this one here? What the heck? I'm just picking randomly. So what I'm going to do to figure out what B is I am going to plug in I'm going to plug in 2010 for X. Okay. So I'm going to need a little room here. 7. And then I'm going to replace X with, whoops, with 2010. Okay. And actually, I think I'm just going to, just to make things easier, I'm going to use the whole 2000 as year number 0. And so 2010 would be year number 10. And then the numbers just aren't so darn big. Okay. And then, and so if I plug in, if I replace my X with 10, then that means I have to replace my Y with 2207. Okay. Now I just solve for B. All right. So I'll multiply on the right side and get 55, well, this number. And then I'll subtract that number from both sides. 2207 minus 55, 86.7. And we get negative 3379.7, whoops, is B. All right. So that tells me, now that I know what my M is, I know what my B is, so I can say, all right, well, the equation for part B of the problem is y equals the slope, 558.67x minus 3379.7 for the y-intercept. And so that would be it. Okay, so I've got an equation that represents this line. And you'll notice, yeah, sometimes your y-intercept is negative. Okay, it happens. Yeah. Okay, now part C. Find the equation of the line through two representative points from the trend line. Okay, so this time we are, they want us to, looking for the eraser. Oh, there it is. Oh, wait. Just to remind you, in chapter one's all about straight lines. This is the template or formula for straight line equations. We're going to get a new one in chapter 2, a new one in chapter 3, a new one in 4, a new one in 5. Okay. All right. So let's get rid of some of this stuff because I don't think we're going to need it right now. Plus, more importantly, I just need room to work. So part C is going to be pretty similar to part B. It says find the equation of the line through two representative points on the line. Okay, so we got to find 2 points on the line. And you know what? I'm going to need to scroll this just a little. Okay, so now it's time to pick out a couple of points. How about, and they need to be on the line. Okay, so I'm not looking for the actual dots. All right, it says from the line. So for example, in the year 2008, it looks like we're at, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. Okay, so each one of those is 100. So it looks like in year number 8, in 2008, there were 1,100, or the speed was 1,100 kilobits per second. And let's see, let's pick another one. How about, I don't know, right there. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's going to be year 9.8 right there, 9 4/5. Let's see, it looks like the height is 2100. Okay. And now that I've got these 2 points, I do exactly what I did on part B to get this equation. I say, all right, well, first, let's go get the slope. Okay, so I'll do the difference of the y's divided by the difference of the x's. Okay. All right, and I'm just doing it on my calculator here, and I get 555.56, which is actually pretty darn close to the slope uh, between that we had before. Not exactly the same, and that's fine, but pretty close, quite close. Okay, and then we need the y-intercept. So then I would say, all right, well, I'm working with straight lines, so that's y equals mx plus b. So I'll plug in the slope for m. And, oh, whoops. And then for x, I guess I'll just take that first point. That sounds good. I'll plug in 8 for x, because that's 8's the first coordinate of this point. So it's the x coordinate. And if I do 8, then I have to do 1100, the guy that goes with them. I can't do 2100 or something else. Okay, so I'll multiply them together, subtract it over, and when I do that, I get negative 3344.45. So the equation, so my good quality estimate of the equation of their trend line is going to be y equals, let's see, the slope, the m, times x plus negative 3344.45. Clearly, the two lines are not the same, but clearly they're very close. And we use different information to get them, and therefore we got different results. Okay. All right. So let's have a follow-up question, because I know it pops up on a lot of these. Let's see. Let's get rid of some of this. Whoops. Okay. So a follow-up question is, hey, what would we expect the kilobits per second to be in, say, 2012? Okay. So in the year 2012, what are we expecting? Okay. Well, 2012, that's an X value. Okay, that's one of the years. That's year number 12. So I would take either that equation or that one, depending on which one I'm asked to do. I'll just take this top one, and I would say, all right, well, I would plug in 12 for X. And I know it's a little slow. Okay, I would plug it in for X because 2012 is year number 12, and the years are our X values. They are not the Y values. So that's why I'm plugging in for X. In the next section, they'll give us the Y value. We'll plug it in for Y, and then we'll solve for X. Okay, so then at this point, all I got to do is just plug all this into my calculator, and I'm going to do that. Pause the camera. And we get 3322.27. And the Y values are kilobits per second. Okay, so I as always, I want to ask myself, all right, does that pass the smell test? Or in other words, does that seem reasonable? My answer that I got. Because if not, then then I got to double check it. So take a look at how the Y values are changing. Does it seem reasonable that the next year we'd have about 3,322? I think so. I think that seems pretty reasonable. Okay, maybe I'm naive, but anyway, so that is how it is done.